Okay, folks, happy Sunday. Okay, so last night we had a very short session, mainly because nobody came on to keep me company. So we just ended up putting the Red Star decal there on Tiger Tamer. And now I think it's set long enough. So we can dry brush this thing. Here it is. US Field Drab. Let's see if this is yeah, it is. Just gotta make sure it's dry enough. Dryish enough. Always test on the tracks first. Get a little bit more of this stuff here. I have a feeling if this one with a fender missing would be extra dirty in this area. And then it's going to kick up. A lot in there. course, this paint's falling apart that's on this brush. And my own fault for leaving them in the water. That's probably the thing I'm the worst about. Thought about getting one of those little things where the brushes are hanging, but haven't gotten around to them. They seem really flimsy. They seem really expensive for what they are. And I haven't needed one for 40 something years, so I think I can do without that. I don't really like spending money on frivolous stuff that I'm not going to use. Alright, and then we're going to do some of this on the turret. Tracks okay? Yeah, I think so. Dirty tracks. Good morning. Is that how you choose to spell it today? Morning. Morning. What's happening? This one's missing a fender, so I would think that this one would be dirtier than the other ones. I don't know. That's the backstory of it, anyways. Because every time it gets dirtier, it becomes less and less green. It's going to hit the edges here. Missed the short stream. Yeah, there's no reason that I would have gone on to give you guys a clue or anything like that. I just got. I wanted to do something productive. I didn't have a good day. Well, let's. Okay. That makes it sound like things went sideways. I always have this expectation when I go to this car show that it's going to be better than it is. And and this is the first time I've gone to the car show now that I own the vehicle. It's not a lease. Um, so I'm like, all right, well, I can do this. And, just cosmetic stuff. Nothing crazy. There's crazy stuff there that's just done in bad taste, in my opinion. But they didn't have any vendors. They didn't have. I got there late, which was the right thing to do. Because I had to park really far away, but I just walked the whole time. And instead of getting there early and like, the gate's not open. And you just sit there having to wait and stand in place. And it was so hot. But with that said, I'm like, well, I'm in the Daytona area. So I might as well check and see if there's any hobby stores around here. And there's some place called Goblin King Games or something like that. Which normally would be like, I wouldn't have anything historical there. It was in a flea market. So it was all open air. But there was one section that was actually air conditioned. This was in that air conditioned area. And I go around the corner. There's like a hallway, almost like a mall. And I go around the corner. I'm like, oh, they got comics and stuff, so it's in there. So let me go around. So I go around in there, and I'm like, there's nothing here. There's just a bunch of stupid comics. And like I get ready to leave, and I turn around, and half of their store is on the other side of the hallway. And hallway almost like something I've seen like in Mexico. Kind of looks like that. And so I go and check it out, and they had a lot of models there, a lot. And they had 1/72nd scale stuff. They had multiple Hasegawa kits. They had a U.S. half track. They had a model 1940, one of these from UM. They had STKF Z234-1 from Hasegawa, a Stummel from Hasegawa on the half track, a Panzer IV F2 from Hasegawa. They had an F1 from Hasegawa. They had a whole bunch of other stuff. And then I went around the corner and they had some Zvezda. They had a Zvezda Panther D, which I have two of, and a Zvezda SU-85. But they wanted like $20 or $22 for each one of them. So I'm like, that doesn't say buy me on it. And I have plenty of stuff to work on. They had a Tiger. They had a Hasegawa Tiger I'd never seen before. And it was called Tiger 1 Hybrid. And I'm like, I see Tiger 1 Hybrid, and the first thing I'm thinking of, it's the really early one that has the Panzer IV storage container on the back of the turret. And it's like, no, it's actually like a May or April 1945 Tiger 1. I didn't get anything. I'm just not, $22 a piece. It doesn't interest me to buy them. I don't need them bad enough. It's not like I don't have any vehicles. It's not like I'm not sitting on 6 of them. So that's not a come buy me price. But they had a lot of stuff. You can't find that at a hobby store anywhere else. So Got a bunch of, the typical Warhammer stuff too. Typical Warhammer. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and do, see, paint the final details or do the black lining? I think we do the black lining last. Nah, whoops, excuse you. I'll go ahead and do the black lining now because if I need to give it a second coat in certain places, I can do that. But yeah, I've got pretty good restraint. Now, if they were like, $10 a piece, probably would have bought them all. If it was a true free market, probably would have gotten all of them. Maybe not maybe not in the US half tracks. I already have 3 of them, and those are actually really solid. Those Corgi ones. They had a Sherman, an Airfix Sherman Crab, an Airfix Sherman Calliope. I got 3D printed stuff on order coming, and I got this stuff on my table. Like, I don't need that. But typical, they had like 15, 20 kits, and 12 or 15 of them were German stuff. It's like, come on, man. Other people need stuff too. The Germans have to fight somebody. This isn't working. Let's just pull this bastard off. One of the things that I really dislike about the replacement for hobby stores, which is a chain here in the United States called Hobby Lobby. It's not really a replacement for it. It's a craft store. It's like a his and hers hobby store. Except there's not a lot of stuff for, typical hises. But anyhow, is that every one of their stores has exactly the same inventory. So if you look at their model section, it's the same no matter what store you go into. So there's no chance of finding something unique that one place has that the other one doesn't. Unless it was something that one store maybe was out of stock on. And they're not open on Sundays. So, if there's something you need at that store on a Sunday, have fun waiting the whole work week again to get it on Saturday. What do you call flea markets in England? I know at a convention they're called bring and buys. This wasn't a bring and buy. This is a literally an establishment. It's just housed at a flea market. Car boot sale. You mean car trunk? Give them the boot. That means when you hog tie somebody and you throw them in your trunk, mafia style. Go take them somewhere to be disposed of. UK, a bring and buy is where you hand over goods for the host organization to sell. They take a cut. Ah, okay. Well, that's different. That's almost like a pawn shop. Well, anyways, this is like a flea, they call it a flea market here, where just, it was actually kind of cool. And I was already hot as shit. And the place was hot. I mean, the actual store was fine, but you getting there, you know, it's like the whole layout is set up like this, and your parking's all out here. And this is like a huge mall that is probably, I don't know, 500 yards across here. And the store I want to go to is here, so I had to walk through the whole thing to get to it. But it was interesting, you know. If you wanted to, I wasn't going to go in there and look at all the funny shirts or whatever. I was just there for while I was in the neighborhood. But I exhibited restraint. I'm actually very restrained. I got a lot of stuff to work on. If I was out of kits or something, yeah, okay, maybe I would have talked myself into getting another F2 and an F1 to go together. An SU-85. I don't have one. Got a pair of SU-100s. But $22 for a kit just doesn't say buy me, you know? A flea market is where the host arranges for tables to be set out, and for a fee you can sell your goods for whatever you want. You can haggle. Oh, I don't like to haggle. I don't haggle at all. Now, if I'm buying, four of something, yeah, but if I'm buying one item, that's the price. I don't even argue because, for it to be, let's say that kit was $22. I might have been able to haggle it down to 18. I still not buying it for 18. It'd have to be 10, and he's not going to sell it to me for 10, so why haggle? I don't need something that badly. I don't like to haggle. Haggling to me almost seems like you're doing it because you don't have enough funds. Whereas I don't need anything, and the incentive for me to buy something is because it's a good deal. I don't need to rip somebody off to find reason to buy something. I don't know. People can haggle if they want. I'm just not one of them. That's enter the part where somebody says, "Well, some cultures it's used to do that." Well, that's not my culture. It's just not. And if I needed a tank, I would have paid whatever that was. But you know, I got some 3D printed tanks that are coming that are half that price, and they're probably going to look better. Not that the Hasegawas are bad; they do have the wrong road wheels. The Panzer fours have the wrong road wheel pattern on them. I know that sounds anal, and I probably wouldn't have even noticed it until some asshole told me about it. Now I can't unsee it. They got like this little star pattern that nothing really used. And I still have an F2 that is painted but not finished. It's missing a return roller. Somehow it got lost, and I kind of put the damper on it. But that's why I painted yesterday morning, because even though I was a little disappointed in how things showed up at the show, I got this awesome lettering done on this thing before I even left for it. And there you go. That's why you do this stuff. I did hit another hobby store in Ocala, but the town about 30 minutes away on the way back. They have a nice game store there. And I was surprised. It's mainly like a comic book store. They have like video game stuff, the usual Warhammer things as well. And they have a lot of bolt action stuff. And I mean, they have a lot of bolt action stuff. So I was looking at it. I really liked it. I like some of the bolt action artwork or the painted examples of the item that's on the back. So I picked up this Hago Japanese light tank Type 95. And it was like $40 for one tank. Like, wow, that's a lot for a little tank. But I mean, they had a lot of stuff there. So it's not the scale that I do. It's not the game that I play, but it was nice to see historical stuff. Uh, Historical stuff. Which is very unusual. I knew that they had those rollers for the green stuff. They have these rollers that make like patterns on them. Where you put the rule, so you can make like a pattern. The bottom of it looks like a Chinese temple or whatever, skulls, whatever it is that you want to do. I wanted to get one that was clear, and he wanted like $18 for it. I'm like, no, I'm good. Not a good value. I could use, the side of this if I needed to. Probably one of these would probably work better. When you don't need something, you need incentives for stuff that says, buy me. If you don't not getting that buy me vibe, then I'm fine walking away from it. It's not like I've got to bring something back home with me. Sometimes it's the thrill of the adventure of what you're going to find. And I haven't always been this way. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do if the 3D thing works right with that guy, I'm probably going to ask him because he's got access to a kind of bunch of other stuff. I'm going to say, hey, can you and once I see what his material's like, how much would it cost to make a couple Panther barrels? When I send him another order of whatever it is, hey, throw a couple Panther barrels. See if you can do that. Because I don't want to spend $10 for a Panther barrel, and I need two of them for those vehicles that look, and I can't make one out of green stuff. That's outside my realm of talent. I'm almost ready to go to the garage and go grab my soda. Just wanted to finish this before we go on to the turret. anything missing on this one? No, I don't think so. What's up, Patty? If all else fails, you could convert one of those Panthers into a Burger Panther engineering vehicle. Well, that's a good idea, but one of them has the turret stuck in place. And remember, I basically got them for free. So if it gets to the point where it's like, I'm wasting a whole lot of time, I'm better off just throwing it away. I don't want to do that, because I get a rush out of like, hey, remember that, I told the guy that I got it from, said, I'm going to send you pictures of what I do with these things. But I was going to bring them back to life, but one of them is just, with the turret stuck in place, that's going to be a wreck. Or I'm going to attempt to make a wreck out of it. But sometimes, making things a wreck is more work. I don't mind having a wrecked Panther because, I got enough of them that are alive, and I got enough things that fight them to wreck them. Hell, I got 6 T-34s, 8 T-34-85s, 2 done, which we're going to have to redo. Why? Because they don't have the black panel lining on them. Easy to do. That's actually very relaxing. All right. We'll go grab some soda. I'll be right back. Yeah, I don't actually have a tank recovery vehicle. I could use one because that's good for scenarios. None of them are very attractive. Probably the best looking World War II tank recovery vehicle is the American one. M32 or something like that. Because it's got kind of a turret on there with a crane. The T-34 one's not very attractive. Finish up these little bits. The Berger Panther's not very attractive. I guess there's a Berger Tiger also. What did the British use? I feel like a Valentine one, maybe? Well, it's got to be a big vehicle. You're not moving a Churchill with a Valentine. That just isn't going to happen. You try to move a Churchill with a Valentine, Churchill just goes. What do we got left on this bottom section here? If anything. exhaust stuff. Only the filthiest part of the tank. One of the filthiest parts of the tank. Yeah, I'm not buying a $22 model kit. That just doesn't make any sense. So, Ben, you saying Armor Fast is no more. What about Pegasus? Is Pegasus dying too? Because I don't see their stuff anymore. That Pegasus set of the 230, the two sets of the KVs that come with the turrets for the KV1 and the KV2. That is a really good value. But I'm pretty sure that's not made anymore. I'm not sure about Pegasus. When I get asked before, it sounded like it was typical for them to go quiet for lengthy periods of time. Yeah, I thought they were made in Russia because they have a lot of Russian themed things, like with the buildings and stuff, but they're Chinese, so. Yeah, I don't know. You can always find it. They make that one set that has those stupid little Jagdpanzers that were never made, E25s or whatever they were. Make believe shit. That stuff's available. And the T26s. And the BT7s. The BT7s with the pre-production turret on them because they got the BT5 turrets. There was a shortage of those conical turrets, so the first BT7s came out with BT5 type turrets. And the the conical turret is so much more attractive. You know, one vehicle that's really cute is a Tetrarch. I think the Tetrarch is a really cute vehicle. But what used it? Who used it? Like the Sixth Airborne used it at Normandy. That was like it. Tetrarch's a really attractive vehicle. Unlike the airdroppable, what is it, the M22, the Locust? I don't think the Locust is very attractive. It's not duck ugly, but it's getting there. Pair of boobs on top of the roof here. Pretty sure they're smoke extractors. Who's up next? Probably the flamethrower one. So I found out something really interesting that I wasn't aware of. And I found this on one of the airbrush forums. I had been listening to people talk about what paint they like to airbrush with. And a lot of the guys airbrush with Tamiya. And we used to in the early 90s. Because basically, if you wanted a water cleanup paint in the early 90s, you had Poly S to choose from, Games Workshop, or Citadel, as we used to call it, as it was called back then. It's Citadel Color. So Citadel, Poly S, Model Master Acryl had just come out, and then Tamiya. Those were the brands that were available in my area to paint. If you wanted a water cleanup paint. And of all of those, Tamiya behaves weird when you with water. You can't thin it with water. It's always like, you got to thin it with rubbing alcohol, or but you could clean it with water. It just behaves kind of weird, almost kind of like how this stuff behaves with water. You don't want to use that with water. So I listened to a lot of people on the airbrush. I was looking at a lot of the responses, and a lot of the people use Tamiya lacquer, and I'm like, doesn't make any sense to me. It's not lacquer. And I didn't realize until I went to the hobby store 2 weeks ago. They had both. They have the Tamiya acrylic and the Tamiya lacquer. And I'm pretty sure the stuff that was available in the early 90s was not the lacquer one. I'm pretty sure it was just the standard one that came in the big bottles. I liked it because the whole cap was the color of the paint, and it was pretty accurate. You know, you could look at the cap and it was pretty close to that color. But and the other thing I realized is these AFV paints that I got for the counter scheme is actually not MIG, it's AK, which it's the same but different. I watched a video a couple of months ago to try to sort out, like, okay, because I've got, you know, is it AK, is it MIG, is it ammo, and I always call everything AK because it's 2 letters, so it's like easier to say, but you know. I watched a whole video on why that is, and man, that made my head hurt. All that drama. I was not expecting that kind of drama in the hobby. But anyways, so one of the vendors had the AK paints, 3rd generation, and a lot of people liked them better than the other ones. Maybe they'll brush paint better than I like the ammo MIG paints, because I don't have to thin them through an airbrush. Which means I don't have to mix them somewhere else, and then there's wastage. Plus the time of doing it. But they don't brush paint worth a shit. They're way too thin. So we'll see how that goes. I got something coming I should be able to use that counter set with. And hopefully I can hand paint with them. If I can use them for both, then I won't be getting any more of the ammo paints. I'll be getting the AK paints. Because the AK paints just, they suck for pan painting. You know, I should say, I'll get more of those when I run out of these. But I have a feeling, I suspect they won't be any different. They're going to be just as thin. Yeah, I watched that video and I'm like, holy drama. I'm not picking sides or anything, but man, there's just a whole lot of Whole lot of turbulence there. And that company didn't exist when I was doing models, which that was a while ago, but they seem to be kind of the Verlinden these days. I don't know if old man Verlinden's still alive or not, but that was the go-to. But Verlinden never made paint, I don't think. They didn't when I was involved in that. And I showed this lettering to the guy that I double checked to make sure that my Russian characters were okay, and he's like, "Yep, that's spot on." I'm like, "Okay, that's all I need. A seal of approval from somebody that understands the writings." Okay. Let's go ahead and take some Sani to this. Because the other two that we're going to do, the other stuff that we're going to paint, we don't need that fine a thing. Let's put this on here. We need to do the exhaust. The light, no, I need that for the light. Fudgesicle. That way we can go to seal these things. You can seal a whole bunch of them at once. All right, we're gonna need black out here. Oh, that's not black. That's the German camo. That's the damn near black. German damn near black. And light orange. Light orange. I don't know if this is the one I was using. I think it makes that much of a difference. This is orange, orange brown. Well, a mess happened in there. These thinner paints make a much bigger mess than the other ones. And orange being a thinner paint color. a good seal on this. And then we need to wipe this off as well. If you don't wipe this, it doesn't do any good. It's like a terracotta color. All right, much better. Back you go. All right, let's get a little bit of water, even if it's dirty a little bit. It's not that dirty. This has brushes sitting in them. The brushes don't have much paint on them. I was reading a review of something, and I'm pretty sure it was on Amazon. Something was being sold by Amazon. The model kit that had separate link track, and this guy went on a tear like, don't buy this. I can't believe they make you do all individual track links and this, Now there is one track link that I saw that somebody posted on one of the model groups that I'm a member of. That it was like I think it was a model for a Yag Tiger, and each link had like 4 pieces. So you had you had this flat piece, a couple of pieces to attach to it, and then the verticals to put in there on each link. That's a bit extreme. I'm not saying it can't be done. I would like to try it for the physical challenge of it, but I don't do 1/35 scale stuff, and pretty sure I never will again. Not just to have it sit there. I mean, I can have these just sit here. Plus, you have the option of playing with them. Where's Mr. Beige Brown? Or something like that. It doesn't have to be beige brown. This one. Beige brown. Bam. Yeah, 20 years ago, I hated separate link track. Now I'm like, I mean, it's really empowering to get that done. The only thing I really dislike is the resin bubbles. I don't like resin bubbles. And I don't like gluing photo etch. Photo etch is fine because it's pretty durable, but it's just I don't enjoy gluing it. I'm pretty much good with everything else. that's, relatively modern, not vacuum form kits. Got it? No, no, we don't need to go there. That, and like a mold of like this one, like this has a mold line because the halves don't line up perfectly. Well, I'm not going to fill this whole thing in to make it even. It's just it'll just have a mold line from the factory because there's no QC in Russia. In Soviet Russia, there is no QC. There we go. Rubber band tracks I used to hate until I found a thing called a stapler. So you hold those things in place, and then you can melt those things down if you want to, little prongs. And the metallic. Using the least shiny metallic I have, which is Iron Warriors. It's pretty much ready to go. Let's take a photo. Well, what's this? Oh, that's not very useful. Okay. I could free paint the stars, but man, that's a... All we're going to do is we're going to do the auto correction because that looks more like what I see with my eye. Tiger Tamer. Now we got three of them. Three T-34s. Let's move these. Early model ones. All right. Let's do a search for OT 3485 images. I like when you're looking for one thing and you find other stuff that's really interesting. I'm like, okay, well, we might need to save this. Let's add decals to this. I don't want Croatian Army. I don't want Manchurian front. Here's some I haven't seen before. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that. But again, it's not OT 30. There's certain ones that look a certain way. Let's click on this. They have like almost as it's a lambda symbol on them. That's what I'm looking for. I mean, I only need one. I'm gonna save this picture. It looks nice. But it's just, again, it's a standard T-34. Boy, I couldn't find anything but flamethrowers when I was looking earlier for. Had like a lambda symbol, like either a 1-digit number or like a 2-digit number. Oh, this one just has an 8 on it. 36 Guards Tank Brigade, 4th Guards Mechanized Corps, 3rd Ukrainian Front. All right, let's back this up a little bit. Let's just go T-34-85 decals. That's how I came across it. Wow, coming up empty-handed. I mean, you look distinctively different. All right, let's go. Let's go in a different direction then. Let's go to scale mates. All right, I'm going to come down here to the search. OT 3485. See, sometimes it's difficult to find. So let's go ahead and do the filter. And T-34-85. Kits. Stalin's Diplomat T-34. Let's see what we got here. Empire City decals. Oh, this is Angola, Czechoslovakia, Finnish Army, Polish Armed Forces. Okay, so all this is post-war. Okay, that one's not that's not very useful. These are all Polish ones or things like that, so that's no good. Alright, let's go back and do. Let's just do a search for T-3485 without the O in it. I can get any O results. I'll just do a different one then if you're gonna be that difficult. There's definitely drawings out there. Maybe I saved them already. It's unlikely, but I don't know that. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble finding this. I mean, I could make up my own, but I'd like for it to be inspired by reality. Otherwise, I'll let myself be a little too creative. Let's do a search for. Couldn't find any pins for T-3045. You rat bastard. Nope, that's not a flamethrower one either. What the heck? They were pretty common. Relatively common. They probably made more of them than the Germans made flamethrower tanks. Okay, well, we got a couple more places to look in actual books. I just thought normally it's quicker to do this. mean, hell, I'm not even finding the regular T-34s. Okay, well, let's go find our references, our actual book references. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I don't have any of them. All right, what do we got? Soviet heavy tanks wouldn't be there. T-34 76 medium tank. No, that just goes up to 76. So not interested in that. Look on the Panther. I didn't have that. Armor battles on the Eastern Front. Downfall of the Reich. Reich. Okay, well that's the right time period. Soviet tanks in combat. Okay, that's another one. Stalin's heavy tank. Not a heavy tank. Okay, this is 41, 42, so not that one. Alright, so we got these two that are potentially ones. What's this? D-Day book. Nope. Unlikely to find it in these two, but I'll put these back. Let's get this out of the way. I doubt it's in the squadron signal book. None of those. You know, if I didn't have anything to do, I probably should take a picture of all the plates, color plates that I have. And then save them somewhere electronically so I could sort them quicker, but. Great. Pieces of the brush. Alright. Let's start off with T-34 in action. Unlikely to find something here. We're looking for, yeah, this kind of thing. This is kind of the decal that I'm looking for. Look, the very first thing I'm looking at. So it's got one symbol and a letter. If I don't find something, then that's what I'm going to do with the T-34-85. You know, it's two numbers. It's like some Cyrillic. Oh, it's D44. Yeah. That's what I'm looking for. I just want it on the T-34-85. So let's see what we find out here. Okay, here's one. Might be post-war. Second most numerous version of foreign-produced T-34-85s. Polish machines like this example preserved at the Poznan Museum. Oh no, that one doesn't have a flamethrower bolt. I'm sorry. Mine bad. Got a little too excited there. Okay, here's the mantlet. Okay, there's a whole row of them. no markings on 'em. No markings on 'em down here at the lower right. It's in 1946 anyways. Okay. If I can't find something, I'm going to do some variant of that. Armor battles on the Eastern Front, unlikely to find it here, because this involves all vehicles. A Sherman, a Russian Sherman just looks so weird. Nope. Wow, they're just. I had no idea that this was such an issue. I mean, ultimately, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I would like that to be grounded in some kind of reality. Book smells odd. I have a feeling I'm gonna come back empty-handed. Downfall 45. Of course, this has American stuff in there as well. No, that's a T-34-85, but not a flamethrower. Operation. Operation Bragration, or however you say it. Here's another weird Balkenkreuz symbol. I don't like it. It's like the center of it's painted with red brown. I also don't like a white star on the T-34s. And leave that for the Americans. Okay, well, we're going to put our own spin on it. Okay, so we're going to take that, whatever that symbol is, D44. Which one is it? It's not that significantly different looking than the other ones. So having a number that's really big on the side of the turret actually probably helpful. Identifying it at a distance. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to use this symbol because at least we know that a flamethrower unit was used with D on it. Okay, and I'm not going to use 44, but I am going to use 42 because the 2s are nice and curvy. So this is going to be D, whatever that symbol is, 42. Okay, let me go to use the little boy's room and I'll be right back. And we'll start on that. All right, so we're gonna do a couple different things in this guy because it is a flamethrower tank, and it's not much different. It's not much different looking than the whole machine gun at all. So a couple things we're gonna do. And I don't know how they're gonna work out. Actually, they'll work out just fine. I just don't know how we're gonna go about it. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we got some parts on here that are definitely black. So we need to paint them with the base color. And the base color is, wherever she is, 4BO, Russian green. All right, let's get our 4BO Russian green. I'll put some of it down here. We're gonna do some stuff on this that we've never done before. Yeah, not that exciting. This should be big enough. We're not dry brushing a huge area. Oh, I haven't dry brushed this whole thing back over. This just has the original wash color on it. Okay, well, there's that. All right, that's what I need to do. So let's take our dry brush. Is it dry? Oh, we need more paint than that. This is my modulation version. Okay, we're going to do the same thing with the turret. I'm going to take this color and get some of that sand, dark sand. Don't need very much of it. And now these parts that didn't have any paint on them before, that were in black, now have, for the most part, have been covered in this base color. Now, this is a flamethrower tank, right? So this has some mobility off to one side or the other. So this area that's in front of this is going to be scalded looking. Okay, and I don't want to just dry brush it because then you're going to have the recesses that are going to be a lighter color. So we're going to go in here with, let's not use Nuln Oil. Let's use dark tone. Let me find where the dark tone is. Which is Army Shaders, Army Painters Black. They're black wash. And let's get in here with a relatively large brush, something like this, and kind of pick out where this thing is going to be really sooty / dirty, what have you. Let's put some of this stuff down here and be fairly liberal with it. You know, for starters, the front of this is going to be black. Then this whole area up here. Now we're going to end up dry brushing over this with a weathering, so some of this is going to disappear, but we definitely want maybe even up here where some of it, you're blowing it and some of it's coming back on the turret. Now where's the turret? Up here. Okay, we're just experimenting. This doesn't work out, we could change tack. Now, I'll probably have to do this again because really the track should be there when I do this. Okay, so now while that's drying, it's not going to finish like that. That's just the undertone of it. So it needs to be darker in that area. While that's drying, let's go ahead and do the wheels and tracks and all that stuff that we got to do anyways. Besides, I got to find use for this stuff anyways. Let's move over here. And where is the black? Yeah, I want the decisions that I make be grounded in some kind of reality. You can always put your own spin on it. I did the wash now because it's going to take a little while for that to dry. It dries slower than anything else. See, if you use too small of a brush, you can't, it'd take you forever to do this. We don't have forever. You just pick one side and smear it up and down the wheel, the side of the wheel. Flip to the other side. Thank you, Christie Suspension. Makes it a lot easier to do. All right, now we'll flip back to the original side and let's get the German camouflage black out and do the tracks. How's the spare one? Let's go ahead and paint that over. So we're going to put, if we're going to want to blacken this out some. The only thing about this wash stuff that's kind of a pain is it is shiny. No matter who it's from, you got this shiny finish. So you're not going to be able to see how good this looks until it's over with. Okay. So that has to dry. Now, we still have some black left. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and paint the base color of the headlight. dust them up a little bit. All right. Now the track. I'm ready for second breakfast. I actually didn't know that was a Lord of the Rings thing, Hobbit thing. I don't read that stuff. That stuff's not real. No point in reading it. No point in reading stuff that's not real to me. I don't want that laying on that headlamp. There we go. And once this one's done, that leaves two T-34s, 85s. I got lots more 76s. Probably 15 more. Probably. I mean, you guys are awfully quiet. It must keep you busy. I had to say something really controversial, get you guys all involved. Yeah, that's not what I'm here for. Gee whip. And so it falls on its head. Twice, dumbass. Stupid commie bastard. There. And Soviet Russia tank flips you off. I hope we're still connected. That's been known to happen. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this side. I don't want. I guess we're just gonna have to hold it. Let me do a check on that. Somebody sent an attachment. No, he didn't. There's nothing attached. Let's see. I need to go online, but I need to go online incognito. Okay? And then I need to go to Tony, Aguilar, DBA is the easiest way to find me, unfortunately. Here. Oh, it says it's live. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure we still got a feed. You guys don't have to participate. I just want to make sure I'm not wasting my time. That was a flicker. That's not supposed to happen. All right. Let's do the top of these tracks, then we'll check on that, on the crispy part on the front. What I really want to do is write the name on the tank. My favorite thing. Good morning. I've been thinking about you. Uh-oh. Keep your pants on. I've been watching new video of Kings and Generals put up on the Burma Indian campaign. Lots of good material. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. I'll be there. I'll check that out today. Yeah, their stuff is really good to, to start. Kind of like, man, I just have only a basic knowledge of this. So you watch something that's a little bit more basic, but, they've got pretty good graphics. The guy's voice, though, seems a little bit like it's AI. I don't know, maybe it isn't. There's one guy on there that I can't believe it's a real person that speaks like that. It's this one guy that has a YouTube channel, and I'm like, there's no way that this is somebody's real voice. And it is. I'll be like, man, you sound like an automaton. I'd rather sound like an asshole instead of a robot. Done. Boy, I got all kinds of goop on me. Let's de-goop. Yeah, I don't like watching these videos and they have these AI voices. And not only is it an AI voice, but it's like a run-on sentence. You know, it's like, this is a show that's going to be about tanks. The tanks that you're going to see are the T-34-85. T-34-85 is defeated the Tiger tank. A Tiger tank did not have that much armor. You know, it was like one thing right after another. It's like, you know, you're giving people ADD, folks. You know, I don't like those little reels or whatever things that are only 5 seconds long. Like, I have enough attention span to handle something that's 20 seconds long. Like, relax, man. Very machine-like voice, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's his real voice. But there's another guy that does, you know, a bunch of unboxings and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way this guy's real. And yep, he's real. Like, wow. I'm not going to tell you who it is. But if you guess, I'll let you know if that's that guy. Okay. So I did this black thing and I don't think it made much of a difference. Ah, fuck it. We'll figure it out later. Okay. A43? Is that what we did? No, 2. Or whatever this is, a D. All right. I'm going to... let me do my little Cyrillic, where's my Cyrillic notepad here? This looks like, and we're gonna get this nice and, we're gonna do something like that. That's what the intent is. I'm gonna check one more thing else. I'm gonna do a search for Cyrillic D and see what its interpretation is. Cyrillic D. It's a little different. All right, let's do Cyrillic D. Oh. Images. There we go. That's how we're going to do it. Ooh. Let's do one, even one better. Russian D. We got legs. Traditional Cyrillic. Okay, perfect. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, I like their idea of they do really good production on almost all their stuff. All right. Let's do what we came here for. Let's get our white out. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff out there, and there's some stuff that may appeal to one person, and somebody else may really dislike it. I'm sure lots of people dislike my channel. Hopefully, they're not watching, because then you'd be a hypocrite. Go away. Um, this is gonna be big. We want these letters to be big so it stands out. So the player can tell which one's on. Which is the T-34 that's the flamethrower? Should be easy to tell. There's a couple of history stuff that even though they have good programming, I just don't like the main person, and I'm sorry. I'm not here to pick fights or anything, so I'm not going to tell you who it is. But there's one show that's like particularly interesting, and I'm watching this for a while. I'm like, this guy just exhibits no emotion. I don't like people that have no emotion. You know, I'm very emotional. And no, I'm not talking about Tick. I think Tick's great. Like I say, good overview and good unit position animation. I think I like this one because I know so little about the theater. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot either, but I'm willing to learn. Man, there's a lot of trees there. There's a lot of trees. I don't know that I have a source for U.S. infantry in the Philippines though. I don't know that I have a source for them. I thought I could use the figures from Simon's soldiers as late '44 Americans, but apparently I can't. I don't know who the hell makes them that don't look like shit. I bet I could use some of those Airfix Marines and nobody would know the difference. Some of them mixed in. I'm sorry, I'm an NPC. Yeah, you know me. You down with NPC? Yeah, you know me. All right. I don't want to go over this 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 handle. Rainy? It's going to be a rainy day today. We definitely need to do some lettering then, just make our day happier. Check out Strelitz. Strelitz make? Strelitz makes U.S. infantry. All right, I can't wait on that. Let's check it out. I'd rather not use plastic, but plastic soldier review. Plastic soldier review. Periods. It should automatically default to World War II. Like U.S., United States Infantry Marines. And let's go down to Strelitz. They only make the early stuff though. I don't want the early stuff. I want like the 44 stuff. What are these Waterloo guys? I think somebody was saying that their uniform is similar to the Marine one. I could just paint them differently. The Marines are cooler with their helmet covers and stuff, but now you know which ones I think actually look really good, and they're all over the place. I think the plastic soldier Marine Corps guys look really cool. I don't know what it is about them. I really dig their look. I really like the way these guys look. I guess I could use the late war U.S. I don't know. I just the late war U.S. infantry by Plastic Soldier Company looks like a completely different sculptor than the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps guys look. I really like how they look. I don't know. Maybe they're not everybody's cup of tea, but they're a little soft looking. But I'm telling you, I think they would paint really well with my style. But every single one of them has the pants outside the boots. I think they got a really bad rating on here. Yeah, sculpting 3. I don't think they look that bad. I mean, yeah, they're a little impressionistic, but let's look at these strelets. Yeah, these guys all have the. I think those guys might actually work for Filipinos. Ooh, who are these Valiant guys? They don't look too bad. I'm gonna have to ask around. I'm gonna have to ask around in one of those groups. You know, who do you use for Americans in 1944, 45 in the Philippines? Eureka's. Oh, I don't like those Eureka 20 millimeter figures. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're a fan. I don't like them at all. Wait a second. If it's the ones I'm thinking of, they're the ones that make the Japanese and the. Honestly, Eureka miniatures. Some of their 20 millimeter stuff I like. I just don't like the ones that are made by Broadman. Okay, I need to go. I need to go to Eureka, not Eureka USA. Eureka Australia stand menu. Yeah, I don't like these guys. The Australian guys actually look okay. The Australian guys look okay, but the Japanese look weird. Who are these guys? Rifle Squad 20 millimeter? Germans? U.S. Marines Bazooka Team. Yeah, the Australians actually look okay. The Japanese look really, really weird. These guys, not a fan. Their head is so much bigger than their ankles. Now, if I had them already, yeah, I'd paint them. But if it's kind of like if somebody invites you to your house to eat, are you going to eat what they bring you? Unless they give you something really weird to eat, yeah, I'm going to eat whatever they bring me. But it may not be something I ordered at a restaurant. You know, I'm gonna have to ask around. Like the ones I got on my Facebook page, the drawing I have on my Facebook page. The background, these guys, see cover photo. They've got, assuming that's an accurate representation, they got like a model 1944 helmet. I mean, uniform. I mean, sure, it's in a different color. Okay. Which actually is kind of nice. And it's kind of a light color. It's loose. Looks like they have the double buckle boots. A lot of them have the pants tucked out. Man, it'd be nice to use Marines for them. Anyhow, that this book, you weren't here the other morning. I picked this up for $9 used. This thing's this thing is going, I think, going to be incredible. And you know why? Here's why. U.S. Combat History of U.S. Army Tank Battalions in the Pacific in World War II. You have the cover, the name of it, right? You got the table of contents. Bam! No preface or nothing. But the action starts. You flip 2 pages, somebody's already been beheaded. Like inside of a tank by a shell. I highly recommend this so far, and I'm only 3 pages in. Like, this is the shit I like. First time they encounter a Japanese tank, it rams them. Like, yep, it's gonna be one of them things. There needs to be more books like that. Now I don't know if it starts getting into, because usually it's like the preface and then the forward and then the preface and then all the BS about how they develop tanks and all. You could find a lot of stuff online, right? Yeah, $9 used, and it looks like it's been sitting in a shelf. I mean, it's used, but the dust jacket has a few creases on it, but I'll let you know how it goes. But a lot of really tactical detail. Like, it talks about the early Stuart it's got a coax machine gun, 1 machine gun in the hull, and 2 sponson mounts, plus the 37. And one of the issues that we're having with the 37 is that they were firing it, and it would recoil and get stuck back in a locked back position instead of going back and because the way it works is it fires, and when it recoils, it spits out the shell casing and then goes back to its original position, so you load another round in. And it was getting stuck back, so like one of the ones in the first engagement, like literally it was stuck. It's like, okay, well, I guess we're here, but we'll just use the machine guns that we have. And it was talking about the driver, those Sponson machine guns. Remember, only the early Stuart had them. They were fired, I didn't know this, they were fired electrically, by the driver. But apparently they had no flex in them at all. So it was talking about how he was going down the road and shifting the tank from side to side so he could strafe the ruts between the road, by the road where the Japanese were hiding. Like, that's not a very practical thing. But I don't know anything about that, so that's what I want in a book. I want it to have the tactical detail, a lot of flavor, and like I'm learning shit I don't know, which, can, depending on what the topic is, it could be a lot of stuff that I'm learning that I don't know. But, yeah. And that's only 3 pages in, and it's like freaking exciting. So I don't know if they were in Burma. I don't remember. I have a feeling they weren't. I have no idea, but okay. Back to this. Let's put the legs on this thing. Okay, and then we got a dash somewhere in here. And then we got this big ass 4. 2. And let's brighten that up a little bit. And we're gonna fill that in and make it meatier. But yeah, that stands out at a distance. Obviously, it's going to be brighter than that. Which one the flamethrower tank is. What's up, Cardinal? Okay, so let's do the same thing. We ended the 2 about there with even with the periscope, so that's where we're going to start this, the D. And set a little bit more black so we're at the same level as we were before. Okay, the legs. Okay, and then we got a dash in here somewhere. And a 2. And then let's brighten this one up a little bit. Alright, so we're going to do, let's brighten this side up and make it thicker and thicken it up. Yeah, it's really basic, but it's got the biggest numbers of all of them, so it should be able to see it across the tabletop. Because it's not very noticeable which one has the flamethrower on it or not. D42. Give him the D. Okay, well this black didn't have the effect I wanted it to have. Which was more severe than that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take black, actual black paint, and some Flow Aid. I don't know what I'm doing here. So we're going to dry brush over this. So it's okay that it looks kind of severe, because when you dry brush, it'll smooth all that out. But we need more severeness than what's there so far. We need it pretty dark. And it looks stupid right now, but we haven't dry brushed over it. I think it needs to be relatively dark to get the point across. All right, and we need to weather before we do the black lining, right? Yeah. Okay, so let me go to the little boy's room and I'll be right back. that is yucky looking, but that's how it needs to look like. And this is going to sound crazy, but I may put some gloss on it. Because it actually looks okay. The way that is. Man, it's got to be hot in there. It's hot in the tank anyways. That's the bad thing, is it's going to take a little time for that to dry. But so far, so good. Now, my German Flammpanzer, I didn't have to do all that. Because first of all, it comes out of the gun muzzle. So, I think the T-34 is actually a better design. And so is the Sherman one than the German one, because the German one just, it's just the muzzle. It's just, you replace the 50 millimeter with the flamethrower. So, you know, if it's causing flames, it's all happening out here, not right up against the hull. And it is darker on the front than a normal Panzer III on purpose. So, this is a better design, in my opinion. Because you still have the main armament. So everything can be weathered except this. Now, I think we can start weathering this. That should work. We're going to need this for a place to put the. Rain gear first. And tracks. Try not to touch that part that still could be wet. That's the problem with using glossy stuff, is you never really know whether it's dry or not. Yeah, well, you should just wait 24 hours. Nobody got time for that. 24 hours for shit. Now, I'm going to put that here. Let's see. We're going to go really light anyways over this. I'm not going to put a whole lot of that, of this bottom color. I don't want it to look the same as the other area of the tank. Okay, now Iraqi sand. You got an old Nito kit of a 250, but the tracks on those kits after years will shatter, so now I need to make new tracks for it. Luckily, you know how. How you making them? Nito. I think that Panzer IV. I have a Panzer IV. It's a Nito. They're not very good. I guess it was soft rubber and it got too brittle. Oh, I definitely have skills I didn't have 20 years ago. And, people being able to volunteering how to do things, it gives you ideas to think outside the box and just experimenting with things. Oh, I didn't do any of this I didn't do any of the brown on the, well, there's not much of it on there. We can just skip that. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. There's not a whole lot on here to begin with. Now, is this dry? Dry-ish. At some point, it just turns to plastic-like material. Fujimi fixed the issue. Yeah, I have a feeling that's the Stug I have from them was an ex-Nito one. It's weird. It looked kind of condensed. It's like a condensed looking Stug. Let's go really, really light on this. That's how we're going to leave it. I mean, I'm still going to do black lining, and the black lining will work in there. I think that's going to look like the look I want it to have. Let's put my glasses on. Yeah, I think so. Let me take a picture of them. Show you what I'm thinking of. Of course, we haven't highlighted it yet. We haven't blacklined it yet. And it's going to look shiny in that area that may or may not be shiny. Looks pretty good right now. There's a good method using plastic card that I can use to rebuild the track, so I'm going to try that. Better than buying another kit just to fix the issue. Absolutely. Absolutely. At that point, you might just, you don't want to spend money on a kit you already have and is not a very good quality. You also don't want to throw it in the trash either, so. Black lining. I need a way to identify this thing 2 feet away from it, from the other T-34s. They don't need to be together when we do that. All right. Yeah, that's why I have such a problem with the Panther. I got two Panthers I need barrels for. I don't want to buy another pair. I don't want to buy a barrel for them, especially since both of them may end up being junk. The barrel costs as much as a new kit. If I'm buying a new kit, I'll just build the new kit and not the old one. But I don't want to throw it away. Sometimes it's a vicious circle. Buy a new kit for the barrel because it's cheaper than the barrels. And you build a new kit. There's no point in building the damaged one. Then I still got two damaged ones with no barrel. So then buy another, rinse and repeat. So let me ask the 3D printer that I'm using, if he's willing to, hey, can you cast me just a couple barrels for a Panther? Actually, probably should make him do like 3 of them. I come across any other Panthers that are a shit show. I have a feeling those models that I have, somebody's kids got into them. And just like, they're like playing like. And then he got rid of them because he didn't want to be reminded of that. And my daughter never touched any of that stuff. I have a good kid. I know some people that don't. They have kids that don't touch that. Yo, you mean this? Is this the thing you don't want me to touch? I might be seeing here in a couple days. Here we got another storm coming. Like what the hell? Yeah, there's no point in buying model just for those parts. Because then you gotta put the rest of the model away. Now it comes with extra stuff that's different. But it's unusual that we'd have those pieces extra. Yep. Not directly, but we're not in the middle of it. The problem is it's getting kind of a running start. It's starting pretty far away. But we're nowhere near the coast. Well, if my daughter comes, we're definitely going to put her car in a garage. We'll put her car in the parking garage of the hospital. Because the last storm, if she had been here, it would have put a tree limb through her car window for sure, or two. She's planning on coming next weekend anyway, so it just ended up being a couple days early. Milton, a mighty name. Look out, it's Milton. Sounds like somebody who's lactose intolerant. Don't let Milton near the cheese. Jeffrey, you play Kill Team, don't you? I have a coworker who does gaming. He doesn't do historical gaming, but does that Warhammer stuff. And he said he broke down and bought the Kill Team because he likes playing with his friends. He wants his own stuff. And he told me it was like almost $200 for the starter set. I'm like, that's a lot of friggin' money. Kirk looks like it will hit the southern UK. Is that the one that's going through the channel and northern Europe at the same time as Milton has the panhandle? Yeah, it's the same one that's doing the what was that thing called? The channel run where the Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, and Prinz Eugen did through. Doing the Channel Dash. saw on the news the other day, not that I really follow the news, but it has to come and find me on the Google search page that the Earth now has another moon. Oh, it's some asteroid. So some asteroid just decides to join in, and it's another moon, but Pluto's not a planet. Don't get me started on Pluto's not another planet. Freaking nerd burglars. Pluto's not a planet. It's a dwarf planet. Planet's in its fucking name. That's like saying, okay, here's the mama duck and the baby. Oh, the baby ducks aren't ducks. They're baby ducks. They're not ducks. They're baby ducks. See, that's the kind of shit you come up with. That's the kind of reasoning that only works for people that have never kissed a girl. You come up with shit like that. Gotta go. T-3045 is looking good. The 2024 edition will cost about $230. You know, let me tell you about Games Workshop. My experience with Games Workshop. I'm not anti Games Workshop. They just make products for things I'm not interested in. I don't like this whole new edition of something. Throw all your old shit away. That doesn't work with me. You know, and I've seen some of their stuff. I mean, when I had the 40K, it was the book that was like, it's a beautiful book. I don't even know why I got it. I thought I was going to play it at some time and I didn't. But it was that printer that they used was terrible. Like the pieces come out of it, like the backing it didn't work. But it was a beautiful quality book. And I've had some of their cast iron, I was about to say, white metal miniatures, and I thought the miniatures were really good, especially way back in the day. They just spend so much money on freaking advertising. They got to recoup that. I don't know. I just have a problem with them when they make a good product and they're like, hey, let's cut corners and make it shitty and charge more for it. No, I have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with good things costing, you get what you pay for. But there's no point in paying a lot of money and getting crap. Planetesimal, like it's two moons. I'd rather drive on the British side of the road than not call Pluto a planet. Take that. It's not a planet, it's a dwarf planet. All right, you got to call it a dwarf. If you're going to do that, you got to call it a dwarf. Can't use planet in the name. Okay? Fuck, you guys have to shift with your left. That's a nightmare. Oh my god, that's a nightmare. Why isn't the clutch pedal reversed too? I mean, if you're gonna do it. Go all the way. Planetesimal. That looks like that sounds like a word that was this one of my wife's friends always had this term that she always liked to use, and it wasn't proper English. And then it got added to the English dictionary. And that word is ginormous. It's not a word I use, but it ended up getting used. It added. She was using it before. She was a trendsetter. You guys ever had a hurricane type winds in the UK? What would you guys do? Putting in a fair innings today. Yeah. How? What? I've been on here for a while. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yesterday's was short, and last night's was just because I needed to put the decals on there. But yeah, I really want to see this thing complete. I want to see this Joker complete. But I actually resisted buying tanks yesterday. I saw them in the plastic. They just weren't the right price. I don't need stuff, so you want me to buy it, you better, make me an offer I can't refuse. So I was able to refuse it. And it wasn't something that wasn't available. If it was something that was, out of print, they didn't make it anymore, that's a little different, but all right, now we got to do Le Tourette. Yeah, if I'm going to spray these guys, I want to have a fair amount of them to spray. I don't mind spraying 4. What I need to do is base some of these vehicles. I'm way behind on basing. But that's okay. It's not extremely fun to do. That's why I'm behind on it. If it was fun to do, I would have already done it. And I'm glad I did that like yesterday. Otherwise, I might have had not as successful of a day. This might seem tedious, but I actually like this part because I get to investigate all the details that these miniatures have. We just had your major Sydney convention of the year. I was amazed by the quality of the chain of command and bolt action tables. Looked like just out of a magazine. Very epic. Wow, you're lucky. That's good. Yeah, the stuff we have in the States is not inspiring. Chain of command is a pretty popular system, I think. I watched a video of that what a tanker thing, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely not for me. Definitely not for me. We are occasionally hurricane strength storms like 87. But they don't call them hurricanes, they're just named storms. Just checked, and Storm Arwen was 110 miles per hour not far from here thanks to brick builds and mighty Accrington bricks like they used on the Empire State Building. The damage is restricted to mostly trees. Great turnout for Greg Keller's TBA tournaments. 26 contestants on day one and 20 something today. Some are good, some very good numbers. All really good sports. Very enjoyable 2 days. Yeah, those are pretty big numbers. Those are Historicon pre 2008 numbers. Oh, good. If we were getting those numbers at our shows, I'd probably still be playing DBA, and you'd never see all this World War II talent that I'm pulling out of my ass. 22. Saw some of the Moab. They were name checked by the Lardys on the latest Oddcast. Who's the other Lardy? Richard's one of them. I don't know who the other guy is. Is there more than one? Well, obviously, otherwise this can't be Lardy's. I've seen Richard Clark on many, many shows. And why is it Lardy? Is the other guy like really, really fat or something? Because Richard's I mean, he's a big guy. He seems like he's 6'4" or something, or however many, whatever you guys use. He's 16 hands tall. No, stone is the thing you guys use. Yeah, there's enough people here getting stoned. We don't need to bring that up anymore. That needs to be. 16 hands tall. Rich, Sid, and Nick are the Lardys. I don't think I know the other two. Are they on? Are they on any of the playthroughs? I like Richard. I think he'd be fun to play a game with. I've seen a couple of his playthroughs. I've seen a couple of his playthroughs with some shifty players. Like, I don't want to play the other guys. I ain't got time for shifty players. Sydney pops up on the Battlefield tour viz. Okay. Why are they called Lardies? They all like think they're really fat or something? Maybe the other ones are. I don't know. Those tables that they did a couple of years ago, or maybe it was last year, for the market garden thing were amazing. That's the kind of stuff that motivates me. I'm like, screw you guys in England having all them good looking things. I'm gonna play games that look that good too. Well, you got to do it yourself. You can't just wish it. Like, you got to make it happen. Like, do it. Do it now. So I get inspired by all that stuff. That's kind of funny. Here, of course, we use metric here for everything, but for a person's height, we still generally use feet and inches. Yeah, well, I've said it before. I I like the feet and inches isn't the problem. The problem is that the inch is a twelfth of a foot. That's the problem. The problem isn't the foot. The problem is it's divided by 12. So I always thought what they should have done here in the United States is gone to engineering scale, which is basically decimal inches. So one an engineering, it's a decimal part of the foot. 'Cause I think the foot, I think this is a good 1 unit. I think a meter's too big. So what ends up happening is if you're talking about like distances, like I like using meters like when you're shooting, weapons and stuff like that. Kilometers, absolutely fine. But when you're talking about something that's this long, nobody uses decimeters. You always use centimeters. So it ends up being a really big number for something that's only like, you know, 30 inches long. So it's, you know, that's the only problem with it. But, I'm big on decimal everything. Now the temperature, you can have that. I don't know what that is. Like, I gotta do complex math to wrap my head around what it is. But the distance, I'm a big metric fan, especially this stuff, like millimeter. Like, I don't ever call it's a 3-inch gun. No, it's 76 millimeter. I'm I'm all millimeter on this kind of stuff. They aren't at the point they need a good schlepper Mark IV to get around the shops. There he is. Good schlepper. Just in time for Oktoberfest. Wer ist mein Gutschlepper? Well, let me step away from this thing and see what it looks like at a distance. I think it looks pretty good. Well, we got to paint a headlamp on it. That would just be unreasonable. Good Schlepper Mark IV. Yeah, I don't like people's heights in centimeters. Too big a number. I got to do some math. Yeah, the math is easy to do, you know. And I don't do soft conversion. I don't use that 25. No, it's 25.4, pal. Get it right. You're okay with inches, but sub-inch is just weird. It's worse than weird. It's stupid. It's just stupid. 1/32 of an inch or 5/1000ths of an inch. Numbers too big for something too small. Yeah, it's not. They're not whole numbers. I'm fine with half numbers. Anything smaller than that, just silly. You know, 3/64ths. Just dumb. Oh, I hate fractions. You know the easiest way to do fractions? Turn in a decimal and then do it normally. That's why I don't do stuff in fractions. Fractions are weird. That's for people that like algebra 2. God, I hate algebra 2. The only thing worse than ketchup, algebra 2. Oh. Arwen hit my area really badly as it came from the north, not the prevailing wind direction. Oh, so the wind in your part of the world blows south towards the north? Jeffrey, you live near one of those towns that was bombarded by a German battlecruiser? I think you do. You know, in the First World War. Oh, too wet. Suck that right up. There we go. Wer ist mein Black? No, that's liquid. That's not black. Let's put it here. That's Nuln Oil, not black. Normally west to east. Okay. I would have thought it was from the north. Why? I don't know. I don't know that we have a prevailing wind direction in Florida. Yeah, I don't know that we do. What the hell did I just mix up? I gotta pay more attention than that. Well, I guess if we mix that up, then we'll do the headlamp. So is it safe to say that those Vikings went against the wind? Yeah, I don't know. Them Vikings. Wife's getting phone calls. Well, it is almost 10 o'clock. All right, now we'll mix up the little bit for this. There's a little bit of a dry brush here that I'm not really comfortable with at the front of this flamethrower nozzle. I want all of this black. Does for my place. Here's a neighbor's phone. You got thin walls there, and you got a neighbor with really loud things. No, we were untouched by the German Navy. We were the most bombed city in Scotland in World War II, though. Oh yeah, you're near Aberdeen. I was thinking you were on that. Who the heck is it that's on that coast? Hey, you're up. Not Aberdeen. You're up up a little bit further. Yeah, that didn't help. Attacking the cities. We're like, oh well, we're not going to lose people for nothing. We're not giving up. Like, oop, that's not what they were playing for. It's not what they were hoping for. No, do not paint because it's not a machine gun. And now we need to do the exhaust pipes. Yeah, we'll just use this. Where's the orange at? We just mixed this morning. I shouldn't have to do that again. Ooh, what a mess. Yeah, I would expect that. This color's pretty freaking light. What didn't work? What a shit show. You'd love to visit the homeland one day. Your mother's people originally from Sunderland and can't tell if that's an I or no. Caithness. I. You know, when you go visit your homeland, you might realize that you might find the reason why you left. I always think that, you know, one day if I go visit the homeland, I'm going to find out why we don't live there anymore. Come across something that's odd and you go, you know, there's a reason we don't live here, and I think I just found the reason why. Okay, I think this one's complete. So how about a group shot? And none of these are sealed. Now, oh, that doesn't stand out. There we go. And the only thing we're going to adjust, oh, no, we don't, oh, the pen's not in here. Ooh, we better put this back before we have a boo-boo. I don't want to buy another one of these things. I'm sure these are expensive. Get in there. Okay, where is this? All right, only thing we're going to do is we're going to do the auto correction. Okay, here's a gaggle of T-34s. And we still don't have this, we don't have these packs painted. We need to do that. And probably add one to this one, but not this one. We don't want anything flammable on the outside of that tank. That's gonna be, you know, that's gonna be bad. All right, folks, well, that's where we're gonna stop this morning. Thanks for stopping by. Your daughter and her partner emigrated to London this year, so maybe in the too distant future, go over to see him. Yeah. All right, folks, we'll see you guys soon, and catch you guys on the next